What's up, fight fans? We are back at it with another edition here at Round One Sports TV. I am your host, Edwin, and we have an amazing show for you here today. Let me get set up right here, and we're going to kick off this show. We have a lot to talk about. We have Tank Davis and Vasiliy Lomachenko. So we're going to be getting into that. Just going to check the channel out, making sure that everything is up to par here. What's up, Justin? God bless, brother. All right. Justin, let me know if you can hear this. The bell ring right here. Wait. I'm not sure if you guys heard that. Oh, shit. I heard the bell. Sound is good. Nice. Nice. Let's get it. Let's get it. That's what's up. So we have a lot to talk about. It seems like Bob Arum has come to terms with Gervonta Tank Davis, and the fight between Gervonta Tank Davis and Vasiliy Lomachenko is signed. It's a done deal. It's set for November. So Tank Davis will be fighting a unification fight against Vasiliy. From what I'm hearing right now, look, that is a really good fight for boxing. That is one of the fights that, yes, I want to see. I want to see Tank Davis go in the ring against Lomachenko. I would have liked to see that fight a little sooner, a few years sooner, but I'll take it. Now, I think that Top Rank right now is more or less going to try to get their maximum dollar for Lomachenko. I think that Lomachenko is on his way out of boxing. This right here, if he loses this fight, I can see Lomachenko basically retiring if he loses to Tank Davis. He'll be all of 37 years old by the time the fight hits. And he's just on the wrong side of 30 right now. Depending on how he looks, it's really up to him to see if he's going to call it quits. But Vasiliy is a well-decorated champion. And so is in Tank Davis right now. Tank Davis, look, Tank Davis is coming off his last performance against Frank the Ghost Martin. And what I took away from that fight was that Tank Davis saw something early in the fight and he capitalized on it. He really controlled the pace in the fight. And from what I saw, Tank Davis really dominated him in that fight. Vasiliy has this tendency of fighting a similar style where that he will go into the high guard and pressure his opponent. He has a tendency of having a slow start, Vasily, and really like collecting data from his opponent. Same kind of approach that Tank Davis takes to the fight, if you ask me. Um, and Tank Davis and Vasily, I think it's going to be a really high chess match. It's going to be two fighters really trying to find out information and download information on both sides. I think it's going to be a really high Q boxing match for both these fighters. And we're going to see who does it best. It's going to really, for my opinion, it's going to really take who it's going to really come to who has the most patience in the fight, ironically enough. um where that, one fighter is going to be looking for the other to engage and make a mistake, and then the other one is going to try to capitalize on his opponent's mistake. When that doesn't seem to be like, if they're going into rounds and then there's not a lot of action and neither fighter are biting on their traps, then that's when we're going to get both fighters taking chances. They're going to start to try to create opportunities and windows. Um, and that's when a fight is probably going to break out between the two of them. Now, I'm interested to see how well Vasily can take Tank Davis's power. Now, I'm on the side that he can take it fairly well, being the fact that Vasily has been cracked by everyone, never been put down. And I mean, he's been cracked by all of them, and he's never been put down. So I think he might be able to take Tank's power, but for how long? I could see accumulation. Okay, he's Santa Cruz, right? Leo Santa Cruz said was the smaller man coming into the fight with Tank Davis. But when they got in the ring, I noticed right away that Leo Santa Cruz was much bigger than Tank Davis. His shoulders were wider, he was taller, and I was like, yeah, he might have came up from a lower weight division, but the smaller man, no, right? And Leo Santa Cruz is a skilled boxer. He's never been knocked out, right? So to set a man like that up, right? Uh, if I'm going to talk about the Leo Santa Cruz fight, I got to bring this up. In that fight, just in case you want to check this out, just before he hit him with that uppercut that knocked him out, the uppercut heard around the world, Tank Davis had hit Leo with an overhand right that rocked him. Leo really never recovered from that shot, and that's how he got caught with that uppercut, if I'm going to be honest. He didn't get caught with the uppercut in a smooth exchange while his brain wasn't rattling and he had all his wits. Leo was fleeing. He was trying to get away from Tank Davis when he got caught with that uppercut. He was on the ropes trying to get his bearings back, and his technique was sloppy. Tank saw that, capitalized with a huge uppercut. So it was basically the right hand that just before that uppercut, if you go back and watch it, it's like maybe 10 seconds or something just before he hit him. He was running after that right hand. So that's what I talk about, an accumulation of Tank Davis's punches. How long can Vasily? Now, there's another thing that I wanted to bring into the equation was the height factor. When you're fighting a guy basically roughly your height, and in Tank Davis's basic entire career, except Esau Pitbull Cruz, everyone else was taller than him. So as he was coming up, even in the amateurs, he has a tendency of fighting guys that are bigger than him. So Tank Davis devised a game plan and a fight strategy to beat the much bigger, taller men. And he's very successful at it, with his lunging attacks and his uppercuts coming under the guard because the guys are taller. So they're leaning. They're leaning toward him. After a few rounds, they start leaning and they lean into the uppercut. You see? So that's where Tank finds a lot of his success. But when you got a guy that is equal with you in height, it almost eliminates your uppercut. The guy is not where the level where you typically throw it. Now your punches are going lower. And that's how what Gervonta Davis had to find out in the Isaac Pitbull Cruz fight. In fact, he was throwing his punches like he was fighting a big guy, so much in his head that he kept hitting Isaac Pitbull Cruz on the top of his forehead. That's how he broke his hands. He broke his hand on the side of Isaac Pitbull's head because he kept hitting him up here. He kept hitting him up here, right around here. And he Tank Davis actually broke both hands, but one hand was more broke than the other. The other one was like fractured or something. This one was broken and this one was fractured in that Eastside Pitbull Cruz fight. And you can clearly see that Tank Davis fought the last rounds with one hand. Legitimately, he fought those last rounds with one hand. And Ray Charles can see that. He never threw the other hand. You see? So when you got that right there and Vasily's the same height, I'm like, this fight can be real interesting, real fast. What's up, Bam Bam Boogie? What's up, chat family? How y'all doing? We can't hear you? Don't say that, Boogie. What you mean you can't hear me? Nah, I can hear me. Boogie, don't fuck with me today. Hey, yo, Frontline. Boogie got jokes, huh? What's up with Boogie, man? Hey, yo. Hey, yo, Road Rage, my man. Guess what got melted out today? Huh? Guess what got melted out today? Huh? It's coming to you. It should arrive to you by Monday. The shirt got sent out, baby. You know what I mean? Yo. Oh, you was talking to somebody else, Boogie, or something? Just kidding. Boogie, don't fuck with me, Boogie. I I done had too much shit going on, man. Yo. What's up? Let's go, Boots. Salute. That's the next one. Now, that's the next one for the Americans that's stepping up right now. Jerron Boots Ennis. And as I talked about this on previous shows, that we have taken a hit in recent months for our world titles. America has lost a few world titles, and there are other countries that are really stepping up, like Japan leading the way with 10 successful world champions. Jerron Boots Ennis was elevated to the IBF champion, and they sent him an email, a fax over to let him know, but he didn't beat anybody in the ring yet. So this is his opportunity right now to solidify himself as a world champion, and I can't wait. Jerron Boots is a remarkable talent. I believe that he's the next man up. But Jerron Boots Ennis just got to stay in his lane right now. I believe he should just concentrate on 147 and allow Terrence Crawford to breathe over there. All that rumors going around about him wanting a potential fight. I believe that the man does want to fight, but not now. Terrence Crawford is out doing Terrence Crawford shit, and Jerron Boots Ennis, you need to solidify yourself as a world champion and show the world once again who you are. Because Jerron Boots Ennis was on fire at one point, had it not been for his promotional manager passing away, and then him going through court systems and being away from the sport. It kind of hurt him because out of sight, out of mind. But Jerron Boots Ennis is that phenom, and I believe he's going to be that next star for us after like Terrence Crawford and them leave. I think men like that are going to be the ones that are holding the torch. There's a lot of big fights headed for Jerron Boots Ennis, and there's a lot of potential in the future. but he needs to worry about Jerron Boots and his shit and solidifying that world title for America so that we can definitively say that he's the champion. Because in the champion's world, we all know this to be true. Okay? You can win a world title. That makes you a champion. But what makes you a solidified world champion is when you defend your belt. That's just a thing amongst champions. Yeah, you won the belt, but have you defended it? Once you defend your belt, now we're talking. And that's just amongst champions. In the record books, once you win the belt, you're technically a champion. No one can take that away from you. Okay, so let's just get that. There's no rule that says what I'm saying. That's just, it's just a thing amongst us. We'll say it. Yeah, you won the belt, but let's see how long you keep it. It's one thing to get it, but how long do you maintain it? How many title defenses do you run the table? Get all 4 belts, or do you run the table by beating everybody out in the division? What kind of champion are you? And I believe that Jerron Boots Ennis has the ability, the skills. Sky's the limit for the young man to really show the world and showcase his skills. Okay, yes, I'm in agreement with David here not being the greatest opponent, but he's been out of the ring for a little while. Ring rust is a real thing. Let Jerron Boots Ennis breathe. Allow him to give us these fights. And I want to remind the boxing world, and I want to remind everyone why I started this boxing channel. And I started this boxing channel. I want to give both sides of the street equal praises. I don't have a horse in the race. This is not one box. I'm not a boxing fan. I cover boxing. And the way I do this is I also give you the good things about the other guy, the other side of the street. No matter if he's not a US fighter, I'm going to give him his flowers, and I'm going to tell you his qualities coming into the fight. Why do I do this? Because when Jerron Boots Ennis beats him, he needs to get the praises and the credibility of beating a good fighter. If we keep saying that every fighter is a bum, that he's a tomato can, that he's garbage, that when you beat the guy, everybody's just going to turn around and said, you yourself said that guy was garbage. He didn't fight nobody then. No, but he beat him. He was a champ. No, then that's what you should have been saying. When Shakur Stevenson beat Anaminian, Anaminian's a good fighter, bro. Shakur Stevenson went in there and boxed. He did. His performance was a B. I would give him a strong B on his performance. He could have been more dominant. He could have been more fan pleasing. But technically, Shakur did box well. He could have engaged more. He could have took some more chances. But no one's beat him. So you got to keep that in mind, right? We're going to find out. In a sport, I always say this. You think you're the best, just wait. Here comes that guy. He's coming. Don't worry, he's coming. He's going to bring the fight right out of you, or take it from you, or take it to you. However way you want it, it's going to happen. And that's going to be on the night that we're going to find out what you made of. You see? So I always talk about boxing, but I always also talk about both sides. And then somebody's going to come out and say, oh, no, he's just going to wipe this guy down like a Naoya Inoue fight. Yeah, I have a tendency of believing that Naoya Inoue is going to wipe that guy down. But I'm not going to talk like that other guy's a bum. If he deserved and he's there in the fight and he took the fight, well, then let's talk about him. Let's see what he brings to the fight. But in the back of my mind, my honest opinion would be, I think that Naoya Inoue is one of the most dominant fighters we have today. Another issue that we have going on is back and forth with what you guys are choosing to hear when it's convenient for your fighter. Meaning, We all know ESPN has their own narratives. We all know ESPN be on some bullshit, right? But whenever ESPN puts on something positive, we choose to advocate for them. Case in point, ESPN gave Terrence Crawford the fighter of the year award, right? The best fighter or whatever it was. And now everybody's like, ESPN, white leader in sports. They're recognizing Terrence Crawford. You know that they're the best. So you're using what they're putting out when it's convenient and it works for you. But when ESPN is putting out bullshit and you see it, you're like, oh, ESPN, they biased, they this, they that, they got their own narrative. Well, then make your fucking mind. Is that what you're going to believe or not? Real news or not? Favoritism or not? Whatever they say when it's convenient for you, yep, they're right. Look, ESPN said it. But when ESPN be putting out that bullshit, and you guys all know what I'm talking about, right? You're all over ESPN. Look at ESPN. They lying again, showing favoritism, the corruption in the sport of boxing. Make up your fucking mind. You see, so these are a lot of things I talk about in the sport of boxing that, sometimes we really gotta like take a step back and, you know, give some of these fighters the benefit of the doubt, even though I understand that all the criticism that Shakur Stevenson is getting right now from all the fans are 100% due in part to him. This is Shakur Stevenson's doing. No, you can't 100% to blame. All of this is solely on Shakur Stevenson. Why? Okay, he said it out of his mouth. How about that? Right out of the horse's mouth. Shakur Stevenson put all these expectations on himself. He's the one in an interview saying, this dude's trash. I'm the best fighter in the world. I can beat this guy. I'll beat him. Getting in the ring, criticizing fighters, picking fighters. He did this to himself. And yet when fans call him out on it, we're the assholes. For what? For calling you on what you said? Shakur, did you not say before this Anna fight that you was going to knock him out? When you didn't knock him out and you went 12 rounds and we had something to say, now it's our fault? It's our fault for calling you on what you said. This is all due in part to you. No one else. All the critics. Why don't you stay off of Twitter a little bit? Right? And concentrate on knocking people out. Because Tank Davis is knocking people out. He just knocked out a fighter that was never been knocked out before, if I'm not mistaken. But you're comparing yourself to him. And you're saying, and you're selling it to all of us that you could beat Tank Davis. Tank Davis is on a knockout streak. Your streak is on a 12-round streak. Shakur Stevenson is on a 12-round decision streak. His fights go to scorecards repeatedly, one after another. And Tank Davis is knocking people out one after another. But somehow, some way, Shakur Stevenson, according to himself, is the better fighter. Brother, I just on what I'm looking at alone, right? Yeah, you box. Tank Davis boxed too. And Tank Davis is getting knockouts and you're going to decisions. You got to explain to people you're the best fighter in the world. Tank doesn't have to say anything. He just keeps knocking somebody out and just keeps stepping. Tank's making $39 million a fight. You're arguing over Bob Arum over $3 million, $15 million with 5 fights, $3 million guarantee. But yet somehow you're in the same room with Tank Davis as far as what? Not star status, not knockout status. not doing your job in the fighting ring, what are you the best at? Running your mouth. I got it. Twitter, you had it on your shorts, my man. Oh, that's right. You're advertising for that. Oh, okay. I'm not saying that. You put that on your shorts. Okay. I see what you're good at. And people can take it like that. Now, look, what do I'm being brutally honest. You see, when these fighters say that they're the best, then damn it, they gotta be the best. Because I know men right now that haven't said a fucking word. It's done more work than both those men combined, and they get no recognition. Naoya Inoue. Now that's the fucking best fighter in the world. He ain't up there beating his chest, saying he's the best, going 12 rounds. No, he's on a crazy fucking knockout streak. I think it's like 18 fighters in a row. The only one that's in between is like that Donaire one fight, and the two erases that one. So it's like an 18 fight knockout streak. It's fucking ridiculous. But yet, since he's little, they're going to say that he hasn't fought anybody. Just like the stigma that they're saying he needs to come to America. When I hear a fight fan say, Naoya Inoue ain't fought nobody, he needs to come to America, I realize at that moment that that's not a boxing fan. That's just a guy that likes to copy print and, think that he knows what he's talking about, because almost for like 2 seconds, they thought they said something. You act like if he comes to America, his competition changes. Like the guy that he's going to fight in America isn't the same guy he's going to fight in Japan. You could put that man on the moon. It doesn't matter. He's going to knock out. It's not like all the guys in his division, as soon as Naoya Inoue enters America, all those guys turn into American fighters. Where the fuck did they come from? The same guys in his division are the same guys in Japan, all over the world, the ranking system. The guy doesn't change. These people actually think they said something, and that's what pisses me off. Like, coming to America is going to prove it only proves your financial back. You make more money by coming to America. The fighters don't get mysteriously tougher. Who else? Okay, let's say he moves to America tomorrow. His next fight is in Las Vegas. Go. Tell me what changes in his weight division. What fighters all of a sudden come out of fucking nowhere that are these superior fighters that are going to fight him? Go. It's the same fucking guy. Goodman, fucking TJ, MJ, same guys. It doesn't matter if he fights in Japan. These fucking people act like they said something. Like that really matters. The ring is a ring. It's still the square circle. It's a square where you guys fight in a circle. That's where that phrase comes from, just in case. Right? It's the same. It doesn't matter. Las Vegas, New York, Japan, Philippines, Russia. You could put them anywhere. The guys in his division are going to still be those guys. So you got to watch what you take and what you listen to in this fucking game, because they're going to try to fix it up and make it about everything else but boxing. They're going to try to make it everything else but boxing. And that's how it's going to go. Fuck them ESPN dudes, bro. Listen, they be rocking. They be saying some good shit sometimes, man. But when it comes to boxing, bro, they really, really got their guys. And ESPN is got a connection with Top Rank. And whenever you got an association together, you're going to be biased. You're going to be biased. And what they did to Shakur Stevenson, all of a sudden the people got up and left at the exact same time. That's fucking Bob Arum shitting on Shakur Stevenson on his way out the door, parting ways with Bob Arum. Bob Arum is not going to allow you to part ways with him after he built everything with you. You built your career on Top Rank. You just gonna walk out that door and you don't think that I'm gonna fucking try to take all that back away from you? The moment he denied that contract, Bob Arum probably paid all those people in them seats and bought all those tickets and told them to simultaneously get up at that point and walk out. And then have the cameras from ESPN, their affiliates, their associates, film that shit and fucking try to destroy Shakur Stevenson's career on the way out the door. That's just promotional tactics. I see that. Bob Arum's going to shit on him. He's not going to let you walk away from the table with everything he helped you make. And you think you're going to leave him the star that he made you? Same thing Floyd tried to do to Tank. Same shit. Floyd tried to destroy everything Tank had. Tank was just too powerful by that time. He couldn't take Tank down by himself. You know, you need help like Bob Arum has. He has ESPN to push narratives against Shakur Stevenson. And ESPN got all those reporters that got to read off prompt monitors. They're getting paychecks. They're at their jobs. You better read what's off that prompt monitor. You won't have a job in the morning. And as soon as we fire you, we'll get another person to do it. ESPN is a machine. Is a machine, and they're a very powerful organization. They're the wide leading in sports. And whatever they want to push off on that fucking prompt monitor, if they're paying your paychecks, you better read it. ESPN is starting now. Chocolate is not up yet. Sorry, my man. My bad. Facts, Justin. Facts. Bob got so ugly ways. I think that's also what happened with Foster. No, Bob Arum, you know, you can say what you want about him. You can say that, he's a con artist, a cheat, that he sets up fights and stuff. But ask the men that he cheats for if Bob Arum's an asshole. Ask the person he's cheating for. Ask the Brazilian guy if he fucking says Bob Arum sucks or that Bob Arum's cheating. Ask the Brazilian guy that won the belt how he feels about Bob. He loves him. So when the shoe is on the other foot, whoever he's fucking over hates him, of course. But whoever he's helping fucking loves him, doesn't he? And they like working with him. He got the win for us, right? Right? See, how many times has Bob Arum tried to play fair and put his man in the ring in a situation and they robbed his boy? Remember when he was out there and Josh Taylor had that fight with Jack Catterall and there was a Bob Arum got in there and was like, this is the disgrace of judging. How about the times that they robbed Bob Arum? How about the times that throughout his career as a promotioner, he got screwed over? He learned from that. And he's doing some screwing over. You see, it's a dog eat dog world. And I know who these guys are. They're boxing promoters. They're fucking sharks. I talked about this. I also told you guys that if I wanted to pick a boxing promoter, I'd probably pick Bob Arum. I don't want a boxing promoter that's a nice guy in a room full of sharks. I need a shark to go in the room full of sharks. He knows what the fuck he's doing. Go get in there and get me some judges. You know what I mean? Ask the guy he's helping if it fucking sucks. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes we can see things with our own eyes. Okay. Shakur Foster got fucked over. Nova won that fight. We've seen some things in boxing. But I always talk about this and I always bring this up. For as much as things that these boxing promoters want to do by buying judges and all the refs and all this other shit that you might think that they're doing or whatever kind of cheating, there's always a way out. Boxing is one of the sports you can eliminate all that. Knock that dude out. Finish him. And all that shit goes out the window. They can't touch you. If Shakur Foster would have knocked him out, what could Top Rank do? Could they have gift wrapped that belt again for him? No. Shakur Foster's fight was in his hands. He needed to put him away. If you got that in your feeling, you know you fighting on a top rank card, bro, don't go to the scorecards. How many times have we seen this movie and you're yelling at the screen, don't go in there. Don't go in there, white woman. Come on, don't do it. She's going in the building. Motherfucker. Yo, like, you know what I'm saying? We've seen this movie play out a few times. How many times are we going to, so, but the beauty of it is that you can eliminate all this, guys. You can knock that guy out. There's no cheating. There's no helping. There's none of that. You have a way out. You have a way out. Finish him. I mean, am I saying anything wrong? Oh, he puts him in some hard fights, just like he's putting Loma right now. What's up, Lloyd? Where he's putting up Loma right now. It's not personal. It's just business, right? He protected Loma somewhat throughout his career, got him the fights he wanted. It's not like he needed to protect Loma because Loma can fight, right? He just had trouble with much bigger guys because we always got to keep in mind that Loma was never a natural 135 pounder. Loma is really a 130 pounder. He should never be in 135. So when he was fighting these guys and he would be fighting Shakur, he would also be giving up a lot of height, reach, and these guys are skilled. So Loma is actually, in actuality, stretching himself above his means because the fighters at 135's got bigger names. You see? So he's not even supposed to be there. So, like, Top Rank got him the fights where that, he was able to fight. Yo, that Japanese dude that Loma fought was mad bigger than him and shit. Like, Loma fought a lot of big dudes, and now he's old. He's getting older. And Bob Arum's going to feed him to the sharks. He's going to cash out on him. He's going to get one of the biggest fight. The fight right now to make in boxing is a Tank Davis fight. That's the money fight right now. He passed Saul Canelo Alvarez now because Saul is slacking. Yeah. So technically, in real terms, Tank Davis is the face of boxing, whether you want to believe it or not. He makes the most money. Tyson Fury, because of that Saudi money, and they're just giving away the fucking money, kind of doesn't count, right? In a way, it should, but the fights are not in America. You're not doing that in America, right? So Tank's doing it in America. Tank's doing it in places like New York City, Las Vegas. Tank's doing it there. Tank got movie stars, actors, celebrities, sports athletes, you name it, rappers, everybody's coming out to it. At any given night on a Tank Davis fight, there's no telling who you'll see in the audience. That's a fight. That's a money fight. Tank Davis has the biggest money fight going around right now. And if you can get your fighter Loma the biggest fight, he's cashing out on Loma. And it's not personal. It's not personal for Bob Arum. It's business. At the end of the day, he's in boxing to turn a profit, not to make a friend, not to break even, not to say, oh, you deserve this. Remember who he is. Every fight, he's looking to make $1. That's who Bob Arum is, brother. What up, Armando? What's up, Frontline? My English is not very good looking. What? Yeah, that card is stacked. That's August 3rd. That's the card you're talking about. And that's going to be featuring headlining by the one and only Terrence Crawford against Israel Madachek. Now, that's a really big fight for Terrence Crawford. It, in a way, it makes me nervous. Our American fighter Terrence Crawford is revered in many circles as the best American fighter. Road Rage, my man, thank you for the support. That's my dude right there. And my man Road Rage, thank you for showing the love. Always for the support. Yo, don't let them get you for the shirt. And I will, I got the receipt. I can send you that track number too for you could track it. But it should be arriving by Monday. Then the post they told me today. I got the receipt somewhere around here. No bullshit. I will even send you that track number, dog. Like I sent that shit out today. Facts. So where was I? So Lloyd, what's up? When in doubt, never let it go to the scorecard, Lloyd. Lloyd, you know that, man. You know, you're not supposed to be fighting the fight, counting rounds in your head, thinking, what round is it? Am I winning the rounds? No, you're supposed to be fighting, and then the the thought of going to the scorecards, the reason why you don't see people leaving a Tank Davis fight trying to beat the traffic is because the Tank Davis fights don't go to scorecards. He's knocking people out. He's pop. Oh shit! Now we got to get up and put on our coat. You know what I mean? And it's common for people to get up and try to beat the traffic in every sporting event. Yo, I've been in Fenway, the ninth inning, the Yankees against the Red Sox, bro. That's the fucking rivalry that's been going on for I don't know, God knows how long. That's the hottest game in Boston. When the Yankees come in and people in the ninth inning are walking out trying to beat traffic. It, it happens in Patriot games. I've seen it happen everywhere. For them to do that to Shakur, that was a clear cut case of Top Rank attacking him on his way out because he's rumored to want to sign with Floyd Mayweather under a 3-fight deal where that the Tank Davis fight is a guaranteed. That Floyd would get him the Tank fight, right? Okay. My problem is this. There's too many homies involved when you go fucking with Floyd and Shakur. Jay Prince has history with Floyd. Mind you, I'm gonna back this up, right? Floyd and Prince has history. Remember when they said Floyd was getting robbed by his promotional company? And then he started fucking with Leonard Ellaby? That was Jay Prince in them. So now you think that there's too many. You ever hear that expression, right? It's tough working with family. Family is always the one that fucks you over. It seems cool. It seems like a great idea. Me and you are best friends. We're all homeboys. Why don't we go into work together? Because we all get along, right? It seems like a good idea. Then shit just goes left because there's not a respect. There's a respect as friends. And as a friend, you think you can do certain shit. It's not like a boss where you're acting right, you see? So sometimes it's not good to go in bed or in, a pause because don't want to say it's not good to go into business with friends. Sometimes it's good to go in business with businessmen. You know what I mean? And since Floyd Mayweather's track record in promoting fighters is not good at all, And all his fighters, he lost except Camille Moten. And once upon a time, he had the best fighter, the most popular fighter in the world in your stable. Not the best fighter, but one of the most popular in Tank Davis. And you couldn't even keep him happy. You lost him. But somehow, some way, things will be different with Shakur. Because now Florida's getting the assistance of Richard, right? And what Richard did for Golden Boy was, I talked about this. See, Oscar De La Hoya was fucked up in the game, banging out prostitutes, getting ripped, right? Doing his thing, enjoying his life, spending his money. But he invested in a boxing promotion. The one thing that Oscar De La Hoya did really smart is that he got passionate people and people that knew that what they were doing to build up Golden Boy. Golden Boy is what it is, not because of Oscar De La Hoya. Golden Boy is what it is because of the people that he hired. And they built Golden Boy. I mean, they wouldn't have probably built Golden Boy without Golden Boy's name on it. So it is Oscar De La Hoya's company. His name is on the front of the fucking company. And they call him Golden Boy for a reason. He won a gold medal in the Olympics. So he has done a lot. But the one thing he did smart, even though he was fucking up, see, Floyd could have been running around the world with all his fucking female escort service women, and he could have been doing all that. All he had to do is buy a building, get some staff, and Mayweather promotion would have been took off. You mean to tell me that Mayweather promotion, since the time he's been boxing in the ring to present day, there's no receptionist, there's no building. You can't call Floyd Mayweather promotion. There's no office in the world. There never has been. It's a joke. They really do business out of shoebox money, out of a Nike box type shit. It's a cash business. Like, Floyd should have had way better control of that, and he didn't. And now he's in the situation that he's in. And you're going to threaten me, Bob Arum, Top Rank, a real promotional company, with the threat that you're going to go with who? Floyd Mayweather. Yeah, Floyd Mayweather's name is big. He's a staple. He is who he is. He's a fucking GOAT, right? Okay, I give him that. But business-wise, you can't get Floyd Mayweather's name confused with business. Just because he's Floyd Mayweather doesn't mean he knows the ins and outs of boxing promoting. Yeah, he's a professional boxer. He's not a boxing promoter. That's like just like you thinking that just because a guy boxed, he should know everybody's name in boxing. What? There are guys that are in boxing that don't know anyone else. They're not historians. They're just paying attention to their career and whoever's next on the list in front of them. They don't know no one else in any other weight division. Only like the stars of boxing. That's it. And when you meet them, you think, oh, you're a boxer. You got to know everything about boxing. And you find out quickly, this motherfucker don't know shit. See, just because Floyd Mayweather's name is Floyd and he went down and revered as the type of boxer that he is, doesn't mean that he knows how to manage your career. And he doesn't have the connections like Bob Arum has. That's for sure. That's 100. So, Shakur Stevenson should go back to Top Rank if you ask me. I wouldn't sign a fight deal. No, I wouldn't sign a fight deal. Okay, you got me on that one. But I would go back and I would renegotiate that and I would ask for a 3-fight deal. Instead of 5 fights for 15 million, give me a 3-fight for 10. Maybe I could do that. We work it out from there. You know what I'm saying? But now there's a unification. And Tank Davis seems to be fighting Loma. I like that fight. I like that fight a lot. I think Noma can give Tank some fits with his good footwork, good work. Loma is no slouch. Loma is no slouch. Yeah, he didn't beat Devin Haney. Yeah, he didn't knock out Devin Haney. He didn't finish Devin Haney. He didn't figure out Devin Haney. Every time he tried to take risk, Devin Haney was punishing that body, and he was coming around his guard like often. Loma didn't have no answer for that. He was strong. Loma was strong to the body. He took those shots well, but for how long? He knew that. So when Loma started to figure Devin Haney out, the fight was already over. We were already in the 11th, 12th round when Loma started really picking it apart, picking it up. Like at the end of the 10th round, right around there, Loma started figuring out Devin Haney. If there was like one more round or two more rounds in that fight, I think Loma wins that fight against Devin. But he ran out of time before and I know he kicks himself in the ass now because when he started realizing that the pressure was giving him problems, and that's what it was. You couldn't outbox Devin Haney because one thing for sure, Devin Haney can box. He can box, and he knows how to utilize that jab and that 1-2. He's real good with that. And if you leave Devin Haney comfortable, he was going to box you from the outside. And by time Loma figured out that his Achilles heel was the pressure, and Loma started to really pressure him, going over the top. That's when Devin Haney was all beat red, right? He figured it out too late. That's all that happened. Had there been just one more round, I'm trying to tell you, Loma probably wins that fight against Devin. So that's gonna be interesting for me, because okay, Loma didn't win the fight, right? But he can take away a lot from learning in that fight with Tank. Tank hits hard, but there's one thing about fighting hard, powerful punchers. I fought powerful punchers before in my life. I fought men that had one punch knockout power. And I really thought in the beginning, for like 10 seconds, he was going to knock me out, right? But I go through this little thing and process in my head that I psych myself up so much that I say to myself, "You're gonna knock me out. You're gonna knock me out. Okay, so since you're gonna knock me out, take this with you." And I go somewhere else. You see, so and I fought guys with power, and their power never caught up to me. Like if he would have caught me, there was a big chance he would knock me out, but we would never know because he was on the floor. So it didn't work out for you, homeboy. You're on the floor. I'm walking away. That's what happened. I'm not being arrogant about it. But I fought dudes with power. And Lomachenko's a professional boxer that knows how to deal with power. He's been dealing with and fighting bigger men, just like Gervonta Davis, his whole career. That's why I find this fight really interesting. Both men secretly have the same approach to boxing, not the same style, the same approach, where that they're going to beat the bigger man, that they're fighting with throwing punches up in angles, that they're utilizing their movement as a little person to get under in and out in situations to the much taller guy. Their approach to the fight game is similar. The way they push back their opponents with the pressure. Both Vasily and Tank got that same mindset as fighters. Not the same style, the same mindset. There's a difference. Loma will run circles around Tank. Yeah, he might run circles, but where's the offense? Where's the offense? He might be moving around, and while he's throwing punch, what do you think Tank's going to be doing? Just standing still? Like Tank never dealt with nobody with speed? Yeah, he dealt with people with speed. There were a lot of guys that were in there making fucking funny, erratic movements. He even fought a wild guy in Rolly. Rolly, there was nobody more wild than fucking Rolly. and strong the way he was, you know. And he fought boxer punchers and technicians. Um, 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 uh, fucking Mario Barrio, a tall, lengthy boxer. You know what I'm saying? Lito Santa Cruz, a technician counter puncher. Tanks fought all those kind of guys. Speed guys, powerful guys. He fought them all. Vasily can get in there, but Vasily's good like that with his Loma, his matrix movement. When the guy's a little taller than him, I think he won't be able to do the spinning thing on Tank because he's not gonna have where he can lose Tank. When he was dipping under those guys' guards, and the guy would think that Loma would be right here, and then Loma was right there, is because he was a little taller, and he would back up, and he would lose Loma in his own gloves. Loma would hit, he would block his own vision, and then Loma would end up over here. See? But when he's trying to do all that slick shit in front of Tank, he's going to notice that his eyes and Tank's eyes are never going to separate. He's going to try to go, ooh, ooh. They're on the same level. He's going to quickly realize he can't get under Tank. And Tank's not going to be able to get under him. When Tank hits those guys with that uppercut, he's usually looking down at an angle, and the guy's up here, and he's coming through the guard up here. When Tank tries to duck to go under his Loma's guard, he's just gonna be eye level with Loma. He's gonna be right here. He's not gonna be able to duck. That's why I think this fight is so unique. I don't think Loma's gonna be able to spin Tank like he spins everybody else. And I don't think Tank is gonna get. So now what are they left with? They're gonna have to fight. They're gonna have to actually box each other. It's gonna be an interesting fight. It's not gonna be Tank just Loma. No, Tank's gonna be right there. What are you doing? Where are you going? Yo, it's not. It's not. And Tank Davis does not have the most superior footwork in the world, but it's decent. It's decent enough to keep Loma in front of him. He's smart enough with his feet. Tank. You know what he does good? He shifts good with his feet. He's not like, I would say, the best placement with his feet. Tank. He doesn't have the best placement, but he shifts good. When he shifts from one position to another and he slides, a lot of fighters drag their feet. They drag their back foot, or they barely pick up that other foot. A lot of them have a tendency of doing that, right? Tank, uniquely, he sometimes shifts both feet simultaneously. He'll go shh, like that. You ever see him? And, you know, that creates distance, enough distance that he needs to get those shots off. I think Tank is really smart when it comes to that. That might be something they didn't teach him. That's something I think he might just do naturally, to understand what he does in those situations. And like I said, he doesn't have the slickest feet. He doesn't have great positioning, Tank. Sometimes he's been criticized for having a too wide of a stance, a base stance, and he's been known to trip on his feet sometimes in a fight, Tank. Um, and he's flat-footed in some fights, and then in some fights he's like on the ball of his foot, fighting off the front foot, ready to spring. He uses the back foot to spring forward. He has that spring, that darting movement. Tank's real good with that. Off the push, he's real good with it. So just like a Floyd Mayweather. But Floyd Mayweather found out when he fought Madonna. Remember that time when Madonna knocked out Floyd's tooth in the fight? Floyd went to do that counter pullback, and Madonna threw out the jab, and Floyd thought that he was just going to go back. Instead, Madonna didn't go back. Floyd threw the right. Madonna went under the right. bang Floyd in the face, and his tooth popped out. And you could see it in the sky. Boom. And Floyd staggered like that, went back to the corner. He got that shit fixed quick, huh? I never seen Floyd with like a knockout tooth or anything. He would never let social media catch him like that, I guess. He went right to the dentist, I guess, the next day and got it fucking. That's what money can do for you. Yeah, Mandana knocked out Floyd's tooth. Yeah, he hit him with that straight right. Boom. If you watch the fight in slow motion, you'll see Floyd Mayweather's tooth pop right out of his mouth. That shit goes like this. Yeah, you see it, the fucking tooth. It's like that big. He knocked his tooth right out. I remember that. 2 years inactive. Yeah. Chacalito has been fighting since 2005, 55 fights. It's been around for a while, bro. With 2 years of inactivity, man. Bro, I'm not sure, bro. Uh, you know, okay. 51 fights, 41 knockouts, 4 losses, and he got one loss by knockout. Chocolate. Yo, listen, I tell you guys what though. Listen, man. Uh, 2 years inactivity. Ring rust is a real thing, guys. That's a real thing. Loma will win on points. Loma will run circles around. Yeah, I read that one. Loma will win on points. Um, just like every other fighter that thought they were gonna win on points with Tank Davis, just like Floyd Mayweather panicking in the corner on the unofficial scorecard. Tank, you're losing. Tank's never trying to win a fight by points. Never. He's not counting rounds. He's not counting points. He's not doing any of that shit. He's being methodical and calculated. Tank Davis knew he was going to knock Mario Barrio out. Mario Barrio was winning that fight, hands down. Okay? There have been countless Tank Davis fights that he was losing the first 3, 4 rounds. That's nothing new. Lomachenko, in my opinion, could win on points in the 12th round. The only thing is that he has to make it to the 12th round. If he can make it to the 12th round, he just beat Tank Davis. Yes. Yes. He just got to make it to the 12th round. Frank the Ghost Martin didn't make it to the 12th round. All those guys did not make it to that 12th round. Tank Davis was losing that fight against Leo Santa Cruz. Didn't make it to the 12th round. So when you say that that Loma can beat Tank by points, I've never doubted that for a second. Never. Never said, you are 100% right. He could beat him by points if he makes it to the 12th round. He's got to, not only that he had to make it to the 12th, he's got to make it out of the 12th round. Yeah, he's got to make it to those scorecards. Then I believe he just beat Tank Davis. If we get there between Loma and Tank, Loma won that fight. I don't see Tank Davis beating too many people on points. That's not the way he fights. For Tank Davis is the type of fighter that he's calculated. He's pretty accurate with his punches, and he throws on average 34 punches a round. Tank Davis, on average, he'll throw anywhere between 34 to 41 punches in a round. That's his basic average. So he doesn't have um, a real high outtake, but the punches that he lands on his opponents have a lot more effect than those 10 to 15 punches that other guy landed on him. That guy might have hit him with a couple jabs, couple side shots, couple face punches, but the one or two punches that Tank land on him did all that damage that his 15 did for some reason. He's obviously breaking these guys down. So yeah, I can see Loma winning on 12-round decision, but I repeat, he has to get there. That's all. I don't know, maybe Beretta. Armando, get your picks in for the ESPN card on you. You're going Roman and wait for the better fights. Yo, wait a minute. Isn't Armando technically our Notre Dame, our last Notre Dame? So Armando still technically has the title for Notre Dame. So, bam, he does know how to call the fights. If I were you, I would tread carefully because he could see your future. Okay. Right. So, listen, guys, we're going to get on this Jerron Booth and his card. We're going to chop it up. We're going to pick some fights here. We're going to watch this. And one more thing before I go. I guess Tank Davis stood true to his word when he said Camille Moulton was off his fight card. I forgot to bring that up. Remember when Camille Moulton was supposed to fight on Tank Davis's card on June 15th? Remember? And him and Floyd got into some back and forth, and Camille said something, and Tank Davis fucking snapped and said, "Congratulations, because now you just got kicked off of my card." And then Camille was like, "Yo, Floyd, what fix this?" And Floyd was like, "You ain't going nowhere." Well, Camille Moulton fought on the fucking Nick Diaz, and fucking George fight there, and he never fought on Tank Davis's card. So I just wanted to remind the world about that because it didn't seem like anybody else said anything about it. And it just goes to show you the type of power that Tank Davis now has. Now Tank Davis is starting to, he parted ways with Mayweather, and now he's fighting Loma. While with Mayweather, you didn't get Loma fight. Now you parted ways with Mayweather, and now they're talking about Shakur Stevenson like being a reality fight. And the 135 is now popping because of who? Because of Tank Davis. Because what did he do? Get away from Floyd Mayweather. And it's a shame that these fighters are doing the very thing, ironically, that Mayweather did to his boxing promoter. Once Floyd Mayweather got away from his boxing promoter, which was Top Rank and Bob Arum, he became the fighter and the money maker he is today. Now the boxers are doing the very thing that Floyd advocated for. Leave your boxing promoter. Tank left Floyd. Look at the fighter he is today. And I'm just speaking from what the fuck? We don't see this shit going on. It's true. So now we got Tank and Loma in November. Look, guys, you guys know me. I don't got a horse in the race. I love Tank. He's an American fighter, but I also love Loma. He's a boxer. I love every boxer in the world. You know, I try not to show favoritism. I believe that Loma is the best fight for Tank. Coming off of that Devin Haney performance, I believe that Lomachenko still shows that he still has it. Believe that Lomachenko still has enough in the tank. He's a very smart fighter. This is going to be a very interesting fight. And like I said in the beginning of this, I think it's going to be a fight of patience to see if which one of them makes a mistake. Tank Davis has never been down in his career. He's never even been knocked down. They don't call him Tank for nothing. That head he got, that melon, that I think that dude's in part to taking big shots. So since neither of these fighters have ever been down in their career, it speaks to the type of fighters that they are. Um, they are the best to do it. They are the best to do it. They are highly talented fighters. And when we're talking about the best men and women in our eras to do it, these are some of the two men that are doing it at an exceptionally high level. I'm more on the fence. We're actually going to get to see Tank Davis box rather than him just trying to go out there and knock the guy out. I don't really think he should plan for a knockout against a fighter such as skilled as Vasiliy. I actually think that this may just be Tank Davis's one of his best boxing matches. I saw Tank Davis box against Leo Santa Cruz. There were moments in the fight where they were exchanging big shots. Leo Santa Cruz took Tank's power fairly well until he couldn't just take it anymore. And like I said, he was caught with a big shot leading into that uppercut. So when I sit back and I think about the fight itself with Loma and Tank, I got to admit, it would be kind of stupid for Tank to take the approach that he took against, like, let's say, Mario Barrio, where he gave away the first half of the fight. The first 4 or 5 rounds against Mario Barrio, even the announcer was saying in that fight, if you go back and you watch it, I was asking myself, how many rounds was Tank Davis going to give away before he showed up in the fight? And the answer is 5, because then he just cracked him and blah, 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 whatever it was, 4 or 5 round. I don't know what it was, right? But I don't think he's going to fight him that game plan. And one thing about Tank Davis, unlike Teofimo Lopez, he does have a game plan. Lomachenko, Tank Davis, they're the type of fighters that do devise game plans against their opponents. They're not just training hard, but they're also studying their opponents' bad habits, traits. There are certain things about a fighter that no matter how much you want to trade or make them change, they're always going to be, because that's what kind of fighter they are. Once you find out these little hiccups, these little traits that these fighters have, no matter what, coach has been noticing for quite some time. We've been trying to get him to stop doing this with his hand, because he keeps rocking his hand like this, right? We don't want you to rock, but since the amateurs, he's been doing it. So like Leo Santa Cruz. Leo Santa Cruz, when he fights, he does this little stupid thing with his glove. He goes, you ever see him? He goes like this, right? There are other boxers that rock their hands like this. These are things that the fighter is just, it's in his DNA. He can't stop doing it, right? And sometimes it's a bad thing. It's a thing that a fighter, he's been fighting, he always drops his hand. Coach is like, don't always keep your hand. And he's been practicing, but when he gets comfortable, he's winning. All of a sudden, he goes like this, boop, he gets caught. It's just something they do. So when you study a fighter, you're going to want to like study these things. And right away, Loma's amateurish guard, that's why Devin Haney kept hitting around him. That's a big tail. And you could see that he tries to remember it in the fight. He straightens out his guard and everything like a professional, like the way you should. and you'll see him in brief moments. He keeps it together. He starts exchanging the heat of the battles going up, and all of a sudden, Loma's arms just go like this. It's just natural. So Tank Davis is gonna really Calvin Ford and his team of coaches that he got around to Tank Davis. They're smart. Calvin Ford is a lot smarter of a coach than I thought, and I can honestly say that. Um, I just thought that Calvin, the only fighter he ever had was Tank Davis. Well, that's the only fighter they ever showed me. So I didn't know much about Calvin Ford. I didn't know he was coaching all those young men for all those years. I didn't know that. When I first met Tank when he was young, he didn't have no tattoos. That's what I'm talking about Calvin Ford back then, not the man he is today. I already know who he is now. But when I'm speaking, sometimes I have a habit of not explaining the vision I'm seeing in my head. So let me back things up. I'm talking about a young Calvin Ford with a young Tank Davis with virtually no tattoos when he first came in the game. I didn't know anything about Calvin Ford as a coach. I never even heard of him, right? So I thought that his only fighter was Tank. So I was like, when I was watching him catch victories and I was watching him go through like the Mayweather gyms and shit, I was like, they need to like let other coaches coach Tank Davis. I'm not sure if Calvin Ford is on that level yet, right? So as the years start going on, Tank is winning. There was that one fight Tank went with some other coach, and it wasn't Calvin Ford. And Floyd had sent them over there to get different looks. Then Tank, the next fight was back with Calvin Ford and his team. And Calvin Ford from there just started like developing himself as a coach. And I started like watching videos on Calvin Ford and him training Tank Davis, him talking about fighters, him watching him sit down with the remote watching fights. And I started realizing that he was a lot smarter as of a coach than at least I gave him credit for in the beginning. Now I know exactly who Calvin Ford is today. Speed things up to today. Yeah, that's why Tank Davis is as successful as he is, because he has men like that in his corner. Had it not been for Calvin Ford, I'm not sure Tank Davis is the fighter he is today. I'm not sure. I'm not sure they teach him, can keep him out of trouble and keep his head on right like Calvin Ford and them did for him. You know, um, everybody has mistakes, and I'm sure Calvin Ford, there has been times he felt like he couldn't control Tank, and Tank was just gonna do Tank shit, and he had to let Tank find out the hard way. That's just dad teaching his son. All dads do that. Sons are gonna be stubborn, hard headed. You know how it is. Well, you know how it is being a son. You don't want to listen to your dad. You want to criticize your dad for doing all the shit he didn't or did do, right? But yet, if you ask that same kid, would you let your son do the same things to you? He would say no. But it's okay for him to do it to his dad. That's every dad and son's relationship. The son doesn't ever put himself in a situation where he's like, would you let your son do this to you? He'd be like, hell no. What the fuck you doing it to me for then? Like, yeah. So, he Calvin Ford for the most part. I think that him and Tank are really like locked in right now. I think that they are locked in. And like I said, for the sport of boxing, I will always talk up fighters. Tank is not my favorite fighter. No, he's not. No one is. I don't have a favorite fighter. I talk up all boxers, all of them. And Vasiliy Lomachenko is going to come in this fight, and I'm calling it right now. He's going to show up. Vasily's going to show up. He's going to show up. This fight right here with Vasiliy and Tank is a 50-50 fight for me, if you ask me. May the best man win. Uh, I would like it to be the American, of course. We need more belts here in America. Ukraine had a big explosion. They got like within like 1 week, they got like 3 world champions at one time. It almost seemed fake and set up. But when you watched all 3 of their fights, you had to be honest with yourself. Vasily won that fight. That Ukrainian other dude beat fucking Navarrete, and fucking Usyk did beat Tyson Fury. So legitimately, they fucking won them belts. They were not handed, gift wrapped. There was no conspiracy. You know what I mean? Like 3 Ukrainian fighters won 3 fights. That's what I saw with my own 2 eyes. I don't feel like George Kamboza beat Vasily. No, he didn't beat him. So, and which interesting enough, right? Check this out, right? You guys do know that Terrence Crawford's fight at 154 with Israel Markinchak, right, is for 2 belts. You guys know that, right? It's for the WBO. It's for the WBO and the WBC, or the IBF and the WBO. No, it's for the WBC because Israel's the WBC and the WBO is coming stripped off Sebastian Fundora. They're stripping Sebastian Fundora from his WBO title because he had 2 belts. He had the WBO that he won off Tim Tszyu and the WBC that was vacant. So on that night, he won 2 belts. So they stripped him of the WBO officially now, and they're announcing that on the Terrence Crawford fight on August 3rd, that's going to be for both titles. It's going to be for the vacant WBO title and the WBA title that Israel has. Okay. The reason why I said that too is because I was wondering if Vasiliy Lomachenko IBO title is going to be on the line. Because remember, George Kamboza had that belt. And that organization is trying to, like, make their mark too as well, right? So by putting your belt around a decorated champion as Vasily, and he accepts that, then he kind of has 2 belts. And what if Gervonta Davis beats him? Would Gervonta Davis accept the IBO? I heard that Vasily accepted the IBO. I think on paper right now, he is the IBO champion. He took that belt from George. Remember once upon a time, Stephen Kubo Fulton was an IBO champion. Then he won, what was it? The WBO first, because he beat the Heartbreak Kid for the WBC. Once he got 2 belts, the WBO and the WBC, the IBO title disappeared. He no longer represented the IBO. He just wanted the 2 big belts. See? But it looks cool. Like, if Tank beats him, he could put 3 belts on himself. It'll be the WBO, which is this one. It'll be that one, the WBA, and the IBO. And that's how that organization can start building up its belt. You put the IBO against around Tank Davis's waist, and he accepts it. That's a big fucking fighter to represent your belt. Remember, guys, these belts is only as good as the champions that wore them. What makes these belts prestigious are the men and women that held them. See? So, fight fans, listen, I enjoyed this segment with you guys here tonight. Thank you for tuning in. That's all I got for you. Please give the videos a like always. And this right here, that's for my man Bam Bam Boogie. Let's give him one more time. because he likes that. So thank you, fight fans, for tuning in. Give the videos a like if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. And like always, I'm on to the next one after this one here at Round One Sports TV.